here's a backstory and behind this smile. So I actually saw you sliding in my DMs last year, and since then the growth has been phenomenal. That's the kind of impact that you had, that you slid into somebody's DM. It was a random conversation, but since then I've been following your journey because the amazing content that you write, because you're so much out of your comfort zone, and you are not just somebody who's writing fluff on LinkedIn, and who is one sane student on LinkedIn I've come across. I put you in likes of Shreya Pattar, wherein people know what they're putting out and stuff like that. And I'm really impressed by your content. Sometimes, at least last year, because you were so much on my feed, um, it was worth reading the post, not just because somebody was trying to experiment with the platform, but because somebody who's been very candid, putting out stories, analogies, one liners that were relatable as woohoo, before the editor tells me they have to edit out this as well. But it's actually an honor to host you on this show by story, because I really want to know what goes behind the mind of Tanya, who is from SRCC, is doing amazing on LinkedIn. I really need to know what's the behind the scenes of all this awesomeness. So welcome to the show, and I'm so excited to do this with you.
Hi, so thank you so much, Unnati. And I think whatever you said about me, the same I can say about you as well. One of the few people who's actually making an impact on LinkedIn that's worth it and not just for the sake of it. So thank you for the kind words. And yeah, let's get started.
All right. So my first question has to be this. What makes you Tanya in the world where people are blinded by just taking a good college and then stopping their efforts, or just becoming a LinkedIn influencer and stopping to put efforts? What's the reason behind your constant consistency despite the pandemic and everything just crushing our creativities? What has kept you this consistent and amazing?
So I think it would be the zeal to learn something new and also like the determination to go after what I want. If I set a goal, so then I put in all my efforts that I have to reach it, no matter what happens, be it some sacrifices I have to make or some other, I'll adjust it through some other ways. But yeah, reaching my goal is something that I'll definitely be able to do. So I think it's the zeal and the determination. So both of those portions mixed and then I was formed.
That's amazing, and that's a very simple answer with a very deep meaning, because I know it all will not take you anywhere, so which is great. When did you start your LinkedIn journey? How did you come across the platform, and how do you curate your content, because it's relatable but is also something which is like it delivers value, if not just in terms of marketing or this or that. It just tells me, like, I remember reading your post of facing the audience, holding a mic, and hosting your couple of first few events and stuff like that. And it was like I'm visiting my college life and visiting my fears and everything. So it used to take me through that time zone, time change. So yeah, how did you stumble upon the platform, and how do you write your posts?
So for the first question, I think I was 18 when I started using LinkedIn. So I'd come across it by hearing it in college and everywhere that, LinkedIn's a platform. Before that, I had no clue what LinkedIn is. I didn't even know an app called LinkedIn exists until my first year of college. So
Okay.
when I entered, so I logged into LinkedIn just to see what it is. And then, I started reading posts and I couldn't stop myself from scrolling. I was just scrolling and scrolling. I was reading. And one thing I could see was that many people are posting good content, but not many of them are students or not many of them are of a young age. There's so many people. But then I couldn't anywhere see, somebody from college, be it undergrad or postgrad, or maybe even a school student. So I thought maybe this is some area where I can go into where I can probably create a niche or a brand for myself and probably influence some other students to do so as well. Because most people don't realize, but I think college is the best time to make a brand on LinkedIn. Most people will, start when they're looking for a job or when they're looking for a job transition. But
Correct.
then you need to realize it just when you've come on LinkedIn, you can't just build a brand in a day or two. It takes 1.5 to 2 years just to create that credibility that you have 100, 200 people standing behind you who will support you in a new venture that you take up. Or if you have a brand, then people will themselves come to you and offer you stuff. So I thought that it's probably like a first mover advantage for me if I'm speaking in business terms. And then I just decided to, start writing. So that's the first part. And the second part, how I write my content. So I'll be frank, most of it is spontaneous. Actually, not most, all of it is spontaneous. Sometimes I'll just pick up the phone and some random thought will come into my mind. and I'll just pen it down. I'll just see if it makes sense, if it's relatable, and I just write it. So it takes me 5 to 10 minutes max to write a post on LinkedIn, be it a one-liner or be it some, bigger stuff, probably an article. And the one thing that I do is that I ensure that whatever it is, it's genuine. It's something that's stemming from my own experiences in my day-to-day life, some happenings I'm seeing. Like, for example, if I'm working in a team, I see something happening. Like, how do you respect your teammates? How does a good team work? How do you manage your time? So you have 3 ideas for a post. You make post on them, and then that's how you can help other people too. So that's how I make most of them.
Wow. So you've never sat on a Sunday and written all the posts for the week.
No, I don't do that.
That's so awesome. All right. And how do you manage your college and LinkedIn personal brand, given that now you're seen as somebody who's credible and people have suggested us your name from the student community to get to interview you and stuff like that. So how do you manage?
So actually the thing is that LinkedIn does not take that much time. It's just that there's so many people who say that I don't write on LinkedIn because I don't have time to write it. I'm just particularly busy. So you're never actually busy. You have to take out time for everything. So I knew that LinkedIn is something that it's what's differentiating me from everybody, at least in my college or maybe around me as well. So that is something that I wanted to do. So like I said, if it's in my mind, it's the determination that yeah, I have to do it. So I think earlier I was writing a post every day for
Yeah.
probably the whole week I used to write. But then you have so many
Yeah.
things to do. Then I decided that no, that's all right. I'll cut down to 2 or 3 posts probably in a week, but all of them would make sense. So sometimes one day I'll get like 5 or 6 ideas. I'll just write them somewhere and then I have posts for 5 or 6 days. Sometimes I'll just have a random thought from somewhere, stemming probably just from a table or a pillow or something, anything. And I can actually form a post on it and then I just put it up. So it doesn't take that much time and I've been able to balance at least till now. So let's see.
That's nice. So where do you see yourself probably 2, 3, 5 years down the line? Do you have any such plans?
So that's a very, I guess, a tough question because plans were something that COVID ruined, I think, for everybody. And I think the pandemic did teach us that whatever plans you make, there'll always be some adversity to oppose it. So I think the concept of plans is something that I've dropped. It's more like going with the flow and me knowing, okay, I have to reach someplace and I reach it. But yeah, just like this, taking life as it comes. So
Right.
I'll see where I'll be 2 years from now. I don't know myself.
That's okay, and that's so great. Not having a plan is a good plan now. All right, so let's dig into the platform. Okay, so your posts are very candid. Have you come across any collaboration opportunities that are good, that you think, okay, I am making probably money to post, and LinkedIn influencers, the new budding influencer platform in the influencer marketing world, where Instagram and YouTube were the only platforms where brands were going. But now B2B brands at least are realizing the value of LinkedIn as an influencer led platform. So, what are your thoughts on it? And do you think we're reaching a place where LinkedIn influencers would be paid, not highly, but to an extent that yeah, they'll be incentivized to post on LinkedIn?
So I think collaborations are a really good opportunity for LinkedIn. I'll not say influencers, people on LinkedIn who add value. I prefer to say it that way. So it's a really good opportunity, but I think still brands have not realized the value of LinkedIn. Mostly, I haven't come across so many people who are promoting the stuff in a good manner. Many people are posting
Yeah.
like promotional posts, but then I can see that it's a promotional post, and then I'll be like, I'm just going to scroll through it. I honestly won't read it. However, opposed to that, on Instagram, many people are able to hide it really well in their videos or in their posts, and you feel okay, genuinely they're promoting their brands. So I think LinkedIn has a long way to go, and some brands I've seen have realized and they've grown really huge. I've seen some brands having like a good LinkedIn following, and they're putting really good stuff, which is nice. But then people reaching out for collaboration, sometimes they don't see your field, they don't see who you are. Like as a student, what am I going to promote or what I can't promote, it kind of doesn't make sense. And then people just ghost you as well. If you ask them, for some specific stuff and they're like, oh, no, I don't want this something. So most times people won't even reply. They'll just like leave you, even if they were the ones who approached you first. So I think people need to understand that as well. But collaborations can surely grow. Companies just need to take the initiative to connect with the relevant people.
So probably this is an unorganized market in terms of economics, that it's an unorganized market right now, and there can be agencies or companies who can bank upon this segment.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
All right. And what's one LinkedIn page or company profile or probably a personal profile that you love following on LinkedIn, and why do you look up to them?
I think it has to be Ankur Warikoo. Any day I would say his name because if you see his post, then he has the power to create an impact just with probably one or two lines. So you're, packing your entire post with wit, with probably sometimes humor as well, but most importantly with some learning or some knowledge or some information. Like you see most of his posts, they're so motivating, the way he talks, the way he writes. And I've actually heard him also speaking many times. So then you can, see that, yeah, this is nice. This is the person who I'm reading, and now this is the person whom I'm listening. I had the opportunity to host him in TEDx SRCC when we had conducted that. So he was one of the
Oh,
panelists that we had. So, just listening to him, and you're like, my motivation dose is done. I have now got the motivation I want. And all of his posts, I try to add my, 2 cents on it as well. So I recommend everybody to follow him. It's really insightful. It's beautiful the way he writes his posts.
agreed. Very nicely put. And I hope if this is reaching to international audience, they understand who is the Gary Vee in India.
Haha,
Uh,
true.
so, okay. And now, when you've spoken about being in the TEDx community for SRCC, how does it feel? How did you land the opportunity? And how do they usually select individuals to be a part of the ecosystem or give a TEDx at SRCC?
So how it started? So it was actually started by one of my batchmates in college, with the
Okay.
idea that this was probably one of the only societies that wasn't there in my college, and it's a big
Yeah.
platform. Like TED is huge. You have international recognition. So he started it, and then they started recruiting people, and they reached out to me because of LinkedIn as well. They were like, "We see you
Wow.
writing on LinkedIn, so we like you to be the media and communication director of TED." So that's how it all started. So the entire team is obviously built from people from SRCC since it's a chapter in SR. And when it comes to having people on TED, so we do open application forms as well for people that you can apply, and then we see you can email us your portfolio and everything. But most of the speakers, we reach to them as well, reach out to them and see if they're comfortable or not in speaking and if they can match with the topic that we have. And I think we had a wonderful panel last year. It's amazing that the first time, and it was huge. Our videos actually went on TEDx International channel as well, the original channel on YouTube. So they also featured it. So I was like, okay, that's nice. So I think if somebody gets an opportunity to take part or to give a TED talk, you should go for it. It's one of the things in my bucket list. It's huge.
Wow, I hope I will be able to nominate you. But I did not know about the form thing. So probably I'm now DMing my team to fill it for me. But yeah, absolutely. Thank you for clearing out that process. And I'm so glad that LinkedIn gave you the opportunity to be a part of the first year of the inception, be
Yeah.
just team members, because it's very difficult. The first set of team members have to put the code of conduct and reaching out and a lot of stuff in place so that the others can follow and probably take forward the legacy. So congratulations on that. And so where do you think the future of LinkedIn content is going? Will it be so initially Facebook, and I was talking to Pradeep, who is the founder of Digital Vidya, the co-founder of Digital Vidya, and he was telling me that initially Facebook was fun and LinkedIn was all professional, and now both of them are blurring their lines. This is there for lead generation as well, and this is there for sharing your personal stories as well. So, where do you think the content is going? Is it going to be very emotional, meme kind, quirky, very hap marketing, or cringe?
Okay, so I think see, the LinkedIn, when I had started writing on LinkedIn, so it was a different platform than what it's become now
Yeah.
in the 1.5 or 2 years that I've seen it. So see, I think it's people's personal choice. If somebody wants to put out a personal story, that's absolutely all right. But then it should have a message, it should have some learning and not just, posting for the sake of posting that
Yeah.
here is my photo, here is this, here is that. It does not matter. I mean, you have Instagram and Facebook for all of that stuff. So LinkedIn, post something that's adding value to people. That is what I always say. If you're not adding value, if you won't read your post the second time, it's better to not even post ever. So I think LinkedIn will grow, but one thing that needs to be checked is plagiarism. Because until and unless that is stopped, the whole system would die down. Every day, I think I see one post which is plagiarized tens of twenties of times. I see the same post on my feed and I'm like, what is happening? I mean, this is not where the future of content should be going. Content is originality. And if just copying people for the sake of it, you're just going to land in the rut one day. So LinkedIn would be beneficial if people are able to make the best use of it, if more content creating people come and not just content resharing people come on the platform. So I think it will lead to a high boom. And now also I've seen many people, many college students, which I'm very happy about, have started using LinkedIn and they're posting good stuff. They're posting their learnings probably from college, from school, or probably
Yeah,
from
yeah,
internships. And that's nice because you're influencing people. But
correct.
the cringe posting has to end or this will lead to dying down of the platform. That I'm sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. So what's one advice that you want to give any student who's just starting out on LinkedIn, probably first, second, third year, maybe, not just for the job purposes, but if they're starting out, what's one advice that you will give them?
So the first thing and the thing that every college student almost messages me is that I'm scared that if I post something, I would be judged.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, so many of the times I've got these messages that I'm scared to post. I don't know what to post, or that it's this fear of judgment, like they say. So because of that, they don't post. They're like, I know what I want to post about, but then what will happen to the likes, the reactions? People won't engage. How will it, help me? So one thing I want to tell them is that people on LinkedIn value your content and not your age. This is something I've been preaching since a really long time. Nobody cares if you're 19, 29, 39, 49. But if content that's lit, that's good, everybody will come to follow you. And if you have this apprehension from the starting that, what will I do? I remember I had done a poll asking, I had specifically done a poll for this, that what is it one thing that stops you from creating content?
Oh,
So I
yes.
think there were like 50% or more of people who said fear of judgment. Like 50% is huge. I think around 300, 350 people voted for that. So I was like, what is happening? See, I didn't have this apprehension because when I started out, my sole purpose was that as a college student, I'm creating something new. So I never had the fear that if I'll be judged, what will happen? But people who are coming in now, they're saying, यहाँ पे तो already बहुत सारे लोग हैं. There's so many people here. What will we do? So that's the thing, right? You have to just let go of the judgment and just write the first post. Because once you do that, you'll actually not stop writing. And then you'll honestly laugh on yourself that this is what I was getting scared of. So that would be my advice.
Okay, amazing. And so, what's the one Netflix series or book that you've consumed recently that has impacted your mindset? Because I see a very strong mindset at a very young age. What are you consuming?
So I'm not into series as such, but a book I definitely say is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. It's amazing. I think I've read that book probably 4 or 5 times now.
Oh,
And yeah, every time you have a really nice perspective to it. So it's basically about following your heart and going where you wish to go. So follow the journey that your heart desires to follow. So it's all about, it's about a person who starts out on his journey to achieve what he wants and then deep down realizes it was in front of him the entire time. So if you through the power of I think storytelling, it's wonderfully curated how going after what you want, after what your heart desires, will make you reach your goal or your destination. So that is one book I definitely recommend. And not a series, but a movie. It's The Shawshank Redemption. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's an amazing movie. It's all about hope and how the power of belief in yourself can get you out of situations. So it has a very good quote by the main protagonist that goes by, hope is a good thing, probably the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. And the entire movie is based on that quote, how hope is what took that person and changed that person and took him out of jail. So it's a whole, I'll not reveal the plot to you, but
uh,
it's amazing. This movie also I watched, I guess, 10 to 12 times, but every time I'm like, wow. So
oh,
I suggest.
wow. I'll probably definitely watch it and then tag you once I'm done and say thank you. All right. And so, Tanya, you've touched upon a lot of things on LinkedIn. How do you create content, collaborations, advice, and stuff? But I see you also as a pro networker from your first message that I received to becoming a part of the TEDx team at SRCC, and then also communicating your thoughts on a platform, I see yourself as a very nice networker. What advice do you have, or what one tip that you have when it comes to networking on the platform?
So one thing that I don't know if many people do it, but what I do is that if I'm scrolling through LinkedIn and I come across a post and I see that it's nice, it's insightful, or if I've learned something new, it's a new concept, then I don't see who the person is, what he's wherever he's from or something. I don't see that. I just go to the person's profile and I hit the follow button, I hit the connect button. So for me, somebody with relatable content, good content is a good network connection. And I've seen so many people propagating the fact that, add more people to your network, increase your network. It doesn't make sense. You have to build a good network because your network is your net worth. I think everybody's heard the cliche dialogue so many times, but it's actually true because you have to realize that the kind of people that you add to your network, that type of content is going to flow into your feed. So you have to consume healthy content, not just any crap any day. So the one
Hmm.
networking tip would be to connect with relevant people and not just everybody. And if you think there's a high profile person who may not accept your connection request, being a student or any other reason, then you can pen a really short invitation note. That's good, not just something like, hi, I want to connect, but something really nice that, I saw this post, or you're working in the dream company, or something like that, something that the person will think, okay, somebody messages me, so I'll accept this person's request. Somebody is interested in me and not just for the sake of it. So that is what I suggest. And just
That's
don't be scared of networking.
that's such a nice advice and such an underrated one. Like, I've got messages without even adding them in my network. Thank you for adding me in your network because I know you will, and stuff like that. And please don't show that kind of arrogance when you're giving that sending invite or stuff, until you are Harsh Gujral and I want you to crack jokes and stuff like that. So
Even one more thing, like people write, I've got messages that say, hi, I want to connect. I mean, it's evident that you want to connect. That's you sending me a request, but it's it would have been better if you hadn't sent me this invitation request and just sent me the normal one without a note, rather
yeah,
than saying, hi, I want to connect. I,
yeah, because
I
now that is making me not connect with you.
yeah, exactly.
All right. Okay. This was interesting, and I'm so glad I got to know the behind the scenes of being Tanya. So we'll move to the next round, which is the rapid fire round. So are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So Twitter or LinkedIn?
LinkedIn. I'm not active on Twitter. I don't even have an account of on Twitter as of now. So it's not a platform that I've explored. So probably not in a shape to comment on both of them. But since I use LinkedIn, so I'll go with LinkedIn.
All right. And YouTube or Instagram?
Oh, nice. I think YouTube. See, it's like what I always say is content is what you make of it. So I find it easier to find good and quality content, and I learn so many new things from YouTube as opposed to Instagram. So I prefer YouTube.
Okay. Content or consistency?
Oh, by content, do you mean like any content or like quality content?
Anything.
I think I'll go with content, not consistency. Because see, if you creating content, let's say 30 days in a month, you being consistent, that's amazing. But then you're writing just anything for the sake of writing. If you're just writing good morning, goodbye, hi, bye, yes, no. Okay, so that's also like consistent, right? You're making
Yeah.
30 posts. So that's not making sense. Why will people connect with you to write good morning and hi, bye? It does not make sense. Opposed to that, if you're just writing probably 2 or 3 posts in a week, but all of them are value addition, or they are, creating some kind of insights for your audience, then I would obviously prefer it. Somebody would rather follow a person with quality content and low consistency than somebody with high consistency and poor content.
Got it. And in terms of networking, what would you choose? Dropping meaningful comments or dropping meaningful messages?
I think meaningful comments, because I've seen so many times the comments that I post on some people's posts, they turn into a new conversation on the comment section as well. And those people who are liking it or, seeing the comment or something, they message me on DM. So I'm kind of built like a chain. So I think there was one post I had commented, somebody had written about habits to be followed, some 7, 8 habits or something. So one more thing I found, I put it down. I think I got like 60, 70 people liking that comment itself. So that's equivalent of a post. So
Yeah,
you're not realizing that when you're just making one post, so it's reaching your network. When you're commenting on another person's post, it's reaching the network of that person. So you're doubling your network. So I prefer it.
got it. And what's one non-negotiable in your life right now that you can't do without it or you won't do without it?
I think studies. I can't do without studies. Something you have to do being a college student. So I think studies will be top of it.
All right. And if you had to had a YouTube channel, the genre would be?
I think it would be on personality development because so many of my posts are revolving around team development, time management, confidence, speaking skills. And some people reach out to me saying that how do we improve our English or all of this stuff. So all of that comes down to your personal branding or your personal growth, personal development. And I think it's something that we need. So maybe a channel for that.
Okay. So what's one advice that you would give anybody who's looking to enhance their personality?
So I say that always be confident. No matter what is happening, there's so many situations that you can move out of if you're just confident. Like I had made one post or something and I had written that if not anything, you at least need confidence to survive. Because so many times you'll be in situations when you don't know stuff. It's all right. You're not supposed to know everything. We are not Google. We are humans. So it's all right. But then how do you get out of the situation? How do you say confidently that I don't know? Can you tell me? So that's confidence. So I definitely say you need to have it. It's a paramount stuff to have.
All right. And that gets me to my last question. What's one quote, line, or advice that you swear by and that has kept you going?
So it's by Maya Angelou, and it goes by saying that how many cares one loses when one decides to not be something but someone. So basically, what it means to say is that you should take inspiration from people. You should get motivated by them. You should get inspired by them. But you should not copy somebody just for the sake of it. If you're copying somebody, you're becoming a copy. So you're becoming a thing. You're becoming something. As opposed to you creating something for your own self, building your own brand, your own niche, your own identity. So now you're someone. So go after the someone and not the something. This is something I really live by.
Wow, that's the most beautiful way to sum up this interview. Thank you so much, Tanya, for taking out time between your in between from your classes and everything. I wish you all the best. I can't, wait to see you shining and doing all those amazing things that you wanted to do when the pandemic was not there. And I hope all your wishes come true. You're one of the rising stars that is actually going to shine really, really nicely. So all the best, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Unnati. It was a wonderful experience talking with you and talking with somebody, like I said initially as well, somebody who's adding value on LinkedIn. So it was amazing. And the rapid fire was actually nice. Got a good taste of that. So thank you for having me. It was